Facebook friends. We are live here from the Anaheim Lighthouse. My name is Joe. I am your host for today, and I am super excited to introduce my friend and my coworker, the lovely Cecy. Welcome. So today we are going to cover spirituality, what that means to her, and also celebrate recovery. But starting off, we're going to ask her a little bit about her story. So tell us a little bit about your history in recovery and how you came to the White House and what you do here as well.
So I've been in recovery for almost 8 years. My clean date is December 8th, 2009. I came into recovery because I was lost, broken, had no other options, couldn't get high anymore, didn't know what life had to offer me. I went into treatment. I did a 6-month program and ended up completing that program and ended up working in treatment. I've been working here at the Lighthouse for now 4 years. Tomorrow will be 4 years that I've been working for the Lighthouse. I started off as a cook in the kitchen, working on the men's side. I worked there for about 2 years, and then I became over to support staff, and I worked for support staff for about another 9 months, and now I am a shift lead, so I oversee AM support staff.
Beautiful. And do you want to talk a little bit about what spirituality means to you?
Spirituality means to me, when I first came into this program, I was spiritually bankrupt. I had no knowledge of what life had to offer. And when I got clean and I started going to meetings and finding what a higher power was to me, at first it was the program. It was the NA, Rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. It was AA. I worked with the sponsor. I did what I needed to do to stay clean, but I was still miserable in recovery. I went to meetings, I sponsored, I did everything that the program required, but I was still kind of miserable in my recovery. And it wasn't until I really got connected with a higher power, who for me is Jesus Christ, and it wasn't until I went and got involved in Celebrate Recovery, which is a faith-based program where the steps and the come from the Bible, and that's where I found my niche. I found that I needed to come closer to a God that loved me so much that He died for me, and that I was able to grasp that. And so I got involved with Celebrate Recovery from a church by my house, and I'm a member of that church, and I've been serving on the Celebrate Recovery team now for about 4 years. I actually work in the kitchen there on Friday nights.
Yeah. And
I cook for about 80 to 100 people.
Wow.
I serve on the prayer team. I just love Celebrate Recovery. I do step studies. I have accountability partners, and it's amazing. It's changed my life. The last 4.5 years has been amazing. I'm not spiritually bankrupt anymore. Like, I know I can go through life and just turn to people that have walked this walk of life with me, and they know where I've come from. It's amazing.
That's beautiful. So, but you do believe a 12-step program is important?
I do believe that it's the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous, AA, whatever A that you fit into. If it wasn't for recovery in the AA program, that I wasn't able to build that foundation. It taught me, it built me a foundation to where I can explore other options. So I truly believe that AA is where my foundation was built, and then I was able to, and I still go to meetings, I still am involved in service, and I do everything that the program still requires. I just found another niche, so I have another program to fall back on.
Well, I know here at Anaheim Lighthouse or White House Treatment Center, we do believe in exploring what spirituality means to you, and it's really on an individual basis. I mean, for myself, in addition to the 12-step program, I also do Buddhist-based recovery, and in your case, you do faith-based or Christian-based recovery. So what is the difference between like a 12-step or your typical 12-step NA or AA program? What's the difference between that and like Celebrate Recovery?
With Celebrate Recovery, the only difference is we choose our higher power is Jesus Christ.
Right.
As to oppose as the AA program choosing a God of their understanding. For me, it's Jesus Christ, and but a God of my understanding was the beginning for me. Yeah. If it wasn't for that God of my understanding at the time in the AA and NA program, I wouldn't have found Celebrate Recovery. And that's basically the difference, is knowing that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, and He's your higher power.
Beautiful. And does the program look different? Like, do you have sponsors as well?
Yes.
Or do you call them something different, like mentors?
No, we have sponsors.
And
we
mentioned,
have accountability partners.
There we go.
So our accountability partners, and I can tell you off the top of my head, I have 10 of them. So it doesn't matter any time or day, I have somebody I can reach out to. And even people, normies from my church, are my accountability partners.
So you have no excuses.
There's no excuses. Celebrate Recovery is not only for drug and alcohol addiction, it's for food addiction, it's for porn addiction, it's for sexual addiction, it's for codependency, anything, any hurt, habit, or hang up is what Celebrate Recovery offers.
Yeah, and so I know from when my experience at like Christian churches and stuff, they do like praise and worship, and then they have a service which includes, you know, some
So
preaching.
that's what we do. So after we have our 6 o'clock meal, and then we have our main worship service at 7, and it's either we teach on a lesson, or we have open mic testimony, or we have somebody that comes and gives their testimony. And then we break up afterwards for a small group. We have a newcomers 101 group that for somebody that's brand new and just wants to kind of know what we do there. Mm-hmm. We have that, and then we have a codependency group that they can break up into, and then the addiction one. And we have men go with the men and women go with the women, so it's totally separate. And let me tell you something about the small groups, is that's where you're be able to open up freely. Mm-hmm. You know, we get it. We're sitting in a worship service for an hour and we're listening to a lesson being taught to us, or somebody giving their testimony. But it's when you get into small group is where you can finally dig deep and open up.
Well, what are some of your favorite lessons that you've been able to learn in Celebrate Recovery?
Well, one of the lessons that I really love, and my husband is speaking on it this Friday, it's on gratitude. So gratitude is just some of the things that you're grateful for in life, like where we've all been, you know, where I've been and where my family has been, you know, and where my friends have been, and then they got to show me how to live this new way of life, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I lived that lifestyle, because it wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for that.
And I understand that you also met your husband.
I did meet my husband.
Shout out to hubby. They have such a beautiful love story. Like, I always go to Cecy for advice and stuff.
Yeah. I met my husband at Celebrate Recovery. I had 3 years clean. He had 90 days. Yeah. And
not always advice, but they made it work.
Yeah. And it, you know, he was really inspired by my walk and serving in Celebrate Recovery, and he was fairly new, and my husband has not left Celebrate Recovery since the day he walked in there. Mm-hmm. And we've been now married going on 3 years.
Oh, girl, you better remember.
3 years. May will be 3 years that we've been married, and our lives together, we have problems, we don't have, but they're common problems. It's not and it's because we put God first.
Yes.
And he does his program and I do my program. His walk is totally different from mine, but that's what makes it work for us.
And the two of you together are really just a powerful force.
Yes.
Especially in your Celebrate Recovery community.
Yes.
From what I understand and I hear from other people.
Yes. My husband is very more boast and bold. And that's what I love about him, and I love that it keeps us connected like that.
So let's talk a little bit about relationships. So what advice would you give to people in relationships who are struggling with not only drug and alcohol addiction, but spirituality? Would you encourage them to go?
I would encourage them to give Celebrate Recovery a try. If you don't like it, you don't ever have to come back. You know, you don't like it.
True.
If it's not for you, find something that is for you. Find something where you know where you're going to be comfortable at, because we don't want somebody that's not comfortable. And it grew on me. It took me 3 years for it to grow on me. Mm-hmm. And then it was okay, either give in or don't, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then you went in all the way.
Then I went in full force. And my what I would suggest is just give it a chance. I mean, what do you have to lose? You could either walk away or you could stay.
So you're very involved in Celebrate Recovery. What does your week look like as far as involvement? So you do cook on Fridays?
I cook on Fridays. So Tuesday nights I do a step study. Friday is one of the longest days of the week for me. I come to work. I work here. I get up at 4 in the morning. I get ready. I come to work. I leave work at 3:30. I go directly to the church. I cook for 2 hours. I serve. I clean up, and then I go into worship. So my day ends around 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Wow, and you're exhausted.
And I'm exhausted.
That's worth it.
Yeah, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I wouldn't change it.
That's beautiful. What is your favorite part about working here at the Lighthouse?
My favorite part working at the Lighthouse, seeing lives change right before my eyes. I have seen clients come in here so broken, and the ones that I think that are not going to make it have proved me wrong, and they have made it.
That's the best.
And when I could tell myself, oh, they're not going to do it, and then they are doing it. A lot of alumni I see that are just amazing, doing amazing things. This morning went to the mayor's prayer breakfast, and an alumni share was up there sitting right next to Daryl Strawberry. Like, how cool is that?
That's
one
really
of our
awesome.
very own.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I know working in alumni, your name is dropped very frequently. Like from even the time we were in the kitchen, like we love Cecy's food first of all, and we just love the energy and the protection that you bring and the care and concern that you bring towards the clients.
Yeah, I've been in their shoes. I've been where they're at, and it's all about compassion. Compassion for me. If everybody deserves treatment, whether they're whatever color, whatever sexual preference, or whatever they have going on in their life. I'm not above them. Yeah. I'm one stupid decision away from getting high myself.
Yeah. And I think that kindness and genuine concern really stems from your God-centered life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people who are not in touch with their spirituality, they're just always going to be complaining and miserable and ungrateful and yeah. So you are really truly a beacon of hope and light. And so just 2 more questions. What would you say to family members of an addicted loved one?
I would say, and I'll tell you because I come from an addictive family, and I didn't have the enabling part. But if you're enabling your family to continue in their disease, stop enabling them, and I love them from afar, and just keep praying for them. Keep praying on a daily basis. If you don't pray, then just talk to somebody, because I didn't have that. My both parents were addicts and alcoholics, so I didn't have that. So I would not enable my kids. If they wanted to go that life, I will not enable them.
How important is prayer to you?
Prayer is very important. Prayer is powerful. It works. I've seen it. I pray daily for the clients here, and the ones that need it more than the others, I pray double. I pray all the time.
Awesome. And just one last question. What would you say to an addicted person or someone who's currently struggling?
I have some people that are currently struggling with addiction right now, and the only thing that I could tell them is that when they come to me and want help, like when they're ready, they'll be ready. If you're struggling with addiction, just reach out to the nearest resource center or somewhere, Facebook, and tell somebody you're struggling and ask for help, but truly want the help, and just be ready. Be ready for a new life.
Be ready for a lot of change and a lot of work. It is a lot of work to maintain long-term sobriety, but it's worth it. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Okay. Just a reminder, we're here every Thursday, facebook.com/LighthouseTreatment. You're welcome to come back at any time. Say hi to us. Bye. Bye.